Mustafa, your camera is off.
Okay.
It's another football show, and today we're going to be discussing Victor Osimhen and the allegations and comments by Matthew Eseoghene that Victor Osimhen is not quite the kind of player he appears to be in terms of value and marketing. And we need to discuss that. It's Kule Williams, Warifa Marcos, and Mustafa Jinod. You guys are welcome to another football show.
Okay. Okay, guys. So
Thank you.
failed footballer Matthew Eseoghene, failed footballer, says that Victor Osimhen is not as good a player as we think he is, or he's not the player at the level that we think he is. Um, my statement is that as a footballer, he's top three number nines in the world. So as far as his game goes, he's very good. So he's worth. I don't know how much money he's worth because I don't know what his marketing value is. Haaland makes 525,000. I think that's too much. But then again, Haaland is valuable to Man City. Do you think Haaland would make that much at another team, Mr. Folabi?
Not quite, but
I think Man City needs him. They need him because you see how good you can't win the English league if you don't have a real number nine. Arsenal is learning that. So I think it depends on what team you're on.
sure. You're right about that. But I think what the guy seems to be talking about is his age. Osimhen is 27. If he
Yeah.
signs if he signs a 4-year contract with any top side, he's going to
Yeah.
be 31 or 32
One.
by the time that contract runs out. So they're looking at how much value
Age
and
factor.
resale value they have with him. So basically, and most of these clubs
Okay,
too
I have
have,
one more point, Mr. Folabi.
okay, go
And that
ahead.
guy said he said there are even rumors that the guy is even older than 27 that people don't really know. So continue. Go ahead.
Football age.
That has to be proven and substantiated. But let's just work with 27. Let's assume
Mhm.
he's 27, and by the time his contract runs out, he's 31 or 32. Now his
Mhm.
resale value would have dropped significantly. And within that
Yeah.
4-year period, we're looking at his brand appeal. How much money can the clubs make from him? How much of his jerseys can be sold? Is he a showman? Is he marketable like the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi? So those are the kind of things that the clubs look at
Yeah.
before they commit the capital layout that
Mhm.
is required for that kind of player. And it's not very popular in Europe. And that's
No,
why a lot of
yeah.
European clubs are a little bit
Mhm.
dissuaded from signing him up. So I feel he might have to drop some of his wage demands to get
Yeah.
a top
He
European
needs to
side to
drop it to
sign him up.
300,000 or even
Yes,
280.
it's
But here's
quite
the
a
thing.
lot. It's quite a
And here's
lot.
the thing. If if you're a superstar player and you're not selling jerseys in your own country, then they're losing a lot of money. In Nigeria, nobody buys Osimhen jerseys. Nobody even buys singlet. For even we don't even buy socks anymore, toilet paper because of the economy. How are you gonna buy a Osimhen jersey for 80 pounds? No, come on. This is a big problem, and this is why our Nigerian players aren't worth abroad anything because our country isn't worth shit monetarily anymore. This is a big issue in sports. At least those other guys like Mane and Co. They get money from Saudi areas and stuff like that, and because they're Muslim. Nigeria, we're out here without a proper NFF, without a functioning economy, which means that our fans are useless. Because when you bring Osimhen, you want to bring in his national fans too, to be supporting the merchandising and the team. Nigeria, we can't support anything, man. Not because we're bad people, but because our economy is messed up. What do you think, Mr. Warif? Yeah.
Okay, talking about the commercial value of Osimhen, maybe in terms of advert, television advert, and selling of
Yeah.
jersey. Well, sometimes a player, it depends on how the club values that player. You know, when the club begin to talk much about the player and how you feature the guy, that means you value the player. But when you begin to maybe like the agent and you begin to what how am I going to put it now? Look, maybe you don't give him that much time to feature in a game. You see that the value of the player begin to shake. So, for a person like Cristiano Ronaldo, even as at 40, I was watching the Nations Cup League, European Nations Cup League. He still scored
Mm-hmm.
and he played about, if not that, I don't know if he had cramp or something. Cristiano Ronaldo still has that value. So if Victor Osimhen, to me, if Victor Osimhen, the coach, the what's it called, the club side, they can value him more, value him more and add more value to him. I think his jerseys will sell and it will make more sense to the
But
club.
I don't think Napoli, they need money. Napoli needs money. They can't afford him. But go on, yeah.
So if the club can, for now, I don't think Napoli they value Victor Osimhen. They're even looking for, they're trying to sell him. And also, like that in that other video, the guy was talking about his agent. I've been saying it before this time that it's like Victor Osimhen needs to change his agent. To me, whether it's African or Nigeria or whatever, Victor Osimhen is supposed to be playing in one of the biggest clubs in Europe because the guy is good. He can drift into the midfield and go position himself to score. But I don't think his agent, they are really doing the job. And again, market value, I believe, you have to do with your kind of agents that you have. So that's just it.
But we also have to remember that if Osimhen wants to make 500,000 a week, then he can just go to Saudi Arabia. He'll make it there.
Saudi Arabia.
Or he can stay in Turkey and become a superstar in Turkey and make money from TV and stuff. But if he wants to play in the best league, if he wants to play in Europe and make money, he's going to have to go somewhere. Maybe he's not going to. And like you said, he's 27, so his options are little. I was going to say, like, look at Haaland. Haaland was 19 when he signed with, or 20 years old when he signed with Man City. So Osimhen is going to have to go to the English league and score 40 goals or something like that, and then demand more money as a free agent. Or I don't know, maybe he should just go. He has 1 year before he becomes a free agent. Go take 200 something, 300, and then when you become a free agent, don't sign a long contract. Say, okay, this is what I want. What do you think, Kunle? Or what do you think about that, Afolabi? Then we'll go to Kunle.
Yeah. I was going to say that when I look at what with Osimhen, he's 27 and he wants to go into his final quality football season. He's not looking for the biggest deal financially because he's already turned down the 750,000 a week deal from Saudi. So he knows that he's planning to take a wage cut. The problem that he's having is he wants to go to as good a club as possible. I believe that he wants to challenge himself and he wants to improve his image by lifting his quality and is struggling to find a good enough club that suits the standard of level of football of where he wants to be. Because as we said earlier, his image is not very good. In the past, when we were young kids growing up, we liked the bad boy image. That bad boy image used to sell. But this Gen Z, they're all, I don't know, I call them pansies. They're all softies. And they like the Backstreet Boy image and the goody two-shoes image. And he just doesn't fit that bill. So he needs to build up his image. And I think he's trying to do so by having a more a more visible club.
We grew up during the era of Anelka and Zidane, bad boy.
Yes, man. Jones and all these kind of rough people that will fight you.
Wayne Rooney,
the boxer.
Patrick Vieira.
Yeah, Wimbledon, the crazy gang. And they said
Paul cocaine addict Gascoigne.
Gascoigne. So
even Eric Cantona of Manchester United. Those days
doesn't work anymore. Although it works for us, but it doesn't work for their youths that are still playing the game right now. So
Bearded generation. Bearded likes the good boys, especially in Formula One.
So I feel that I don't know about whether he needs to change his agent, and I don't think he's prioritizing money. I think he's prioritizing because even at 31, when he completes his contract, he can now at 31, 32 go to.
He just go to Aston Villa. I'm serious. I'm not joking. Go to a team like Aston Villa that's already in the Champions League. He'll do well there, man. Go ahead, man.
I think he'll finalize his image with his last 4 years at a top club, and then in his 30s, go to Saudi Arabia to make money and then retire. I think that's
Can you imagine that you're 30 and you say, I'm old now, I can make 500 million. I'm 50, I'm still making 500 kobo. 50, I still say I'm young. Can you imagine people saying I'm old? That's lucky. Like, oh, I have to wait till I'm 30 till I make big money. Oh, so I'm so sorry for you. I wish when I was 30, I wish I could have even 50,000 pounds a week. Sorry, couldn't I continue? Yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say that when people question Osimhen's footballing ability, it's unquestioned what I've seen him do for Nigeria in the Nations League and the football that he played against top teams in the Champions League. That is not enough. He is deserving of every penny that he gets. Thank you very much. He is probably the best striker available for sale in the market right now. There's no other better than him. Gyökeres
maybe better value. How old is Gyökeres? 22?
Yes, but I'm talking about
26.
I'm
27.
It's 26 as well. They're more or less.
He's a better player than he's a better striker than Gyökeres. He's a better striker. Yeah. Yes. But Gyökeres is good. Though. That doesn't mean I'm saying he's not good, but he's close. He's close.
The guy said he wants to play for Arsenal.
Well, that guy should come to us. If it comes to Arsenal, you guys can win. Yeah,
Arsenal, Sesko or Gyökeres, they're not going to get.
Nice, interesting.
I pray they don't get Gyökeres, to be honest with you.
Arsenal, they are confused. Sorry to deviate, but they are confused. I don't know their game plan.
Yes, Gyökeres wants to go to Arsenal, but Arsenal also want to get Sesko, but they can't get the two. But
they are confused.
Gyökeres more because Gyökeres is more of an out-and-out goal scorer. I think Sesko is more of the same kind of player that doesn't really solve Arsenal's problem. But it looks like they're going for Sesko, and that's the problem that they're having. United were an option, but they haven't yet got their act together. They haven't even finished on Mbeumo signing, and they're still struggling to sell players. They've not been able to sell Sancho or Rashford. They're stuck with Onana. They wanted the goalkeeper Martinez. United are having a problem getting rid of players. They can't get rid of any of their players because their wages are too high. And Osimhen should take note of this. When your wages are too high, and they're not valued correctly with your abilities, then it's difficult for you to move to new clubs because new clubs won't pay an amount for you that they don't feel you're worth. So when you're buying players and selling players as a club, you need to be careful no matter how much money you have. You get caught in a situation where you can't sell your player because even though another club likes him, they can't afford his wages and his contract hasn't expired. Unless you as a club are going to say, I'm going to throw away 20, 30 million of his contract and pay him off for the end of the year, which is not good business, and it affects FFP and PPR, football fair play and all of that. So
let me tell you Osimhen's biggest mistake. 2020, talking about I won't go to Man U because I don't want to compete with my friend from my compatriot. Dumbass move. He should have moved there 2020. Didn't he reject a move there before he went to Napoli?
Moved to us to Man United. The problem that he had.
No, in 2020 he was supposed to go there and he rejected the idea of going there. He should have done that.
During this transfer window, they were interested, but the problem that
I'm talking about in 2020, he rejected going there. He had an opportunity to go there, and he didn't.
But at the same time, when he had the opportunity, United themselves are not very good at doing transactions, and I would be just as quick to blame United for the failure. There've been lots of players that have wanted to go to United. United have not been good enough with their negotiators to get those players. Osimhen is just one of several players like that. This player that plays for Liverpool now, that is on the right for them, I can't remember his name now. The Dutch player that he was stolen. A lot of Liverpool strikers.
Is it Gakpo?
Yes. Gakpo. We spent the entire transfer season recruiting him and telling the club we're going to buy him, and then right at the last minute, Liverpool swipe in and get him. Also, that's their striker that is always that they are joking about that's now getting it together. Another Liverpool player. Also, Ranić wanted to get that's your Brazilian, the one that I said looks like Beavis and Butthead. So there's a lot of things that you have.
But also this year he turned, according to what I'm reading, he's the only team that has a chance of getting him is Chelsea. He snubbed Arsenal. So my thing is that I don't.
Oh, you mean Osimhen?
Yeah, he snubbed Arsenal. Did he? Is that true? So, yeah, but my thing is then he needs to take less money. Just go to Arsenal, win a championship.
Yeah.
That's my point. He needs to make up his mind what he wants to do. If he wants money, then just go to Saudi Arabia. Mm-hmm. If he wants prestige, it's even better to go to Arsenal and make less money. You see what I'm saying?
Saudi Arabia win transfer window as closed, so he can't go there again for this season. So
that means he'll have to stay with So my thing is that the only choice he has now is Chelsea, since he doesn't want to go to Arsenal. And I don't know. He said they're not giving him enough money. My friend, if they give him 300,000, he should just take the money and play for a top team. What do you think?
When they don't give them enough money, out of that money they have to pay the agents as well. So when they are taking that 250, The
I guess
agents.
what I'm saying, maybe I'm different. What I'm saying is that the guy is rich. He's already rich. Money is not everything. It's about pride now. He wants to make more as much as any striker. If they're offering him, let's say 200 and something thousand, just take it. It's good money and win a championship. Winning a championship is priceless. It goes beyond money. Remember guys like Maradona. Maradona didn't care how much these clubs were playing him. What he wanted to do was win Champions League and win World Cup. Win for your nation. Osimhen can make money, but I don't know. It's his choice. It's a personal choice he's making. Then he should just go back to Napoli and then come back as a free agent when he's 28. What do you think of Falabi?
The problem with going back to Napoli is that the coach there, Antonio Conte, doesn't really fancy him anymore. And they're trying to offload him. And the sticking point now is still his salary. Like you rightly mentioned, Mustafa, you have to take a pay cut, go to a top European side, win some Champions League or some silverware. And then when his value grows, he can then do his retirement and be collecting his pension in Saudi Arabia. Basically, I think, like Warif said, he needs to get a new agent. His agents are not advising him properly. Most of these agents are just exploiting players. They're more concerned about the present and not the future of this player. At 27, Osimhen is just being unrealistic. His wage demands are astronomical. Most of the top European sides would not put out that kind of salary because the real cost of the player to a club is your salary over the number of years they have signed you, not necessarily your transfer fee. I give you a case in question. Cristiano Ronaldo joined Real Madrid in 2009. It cost Real Madrid 80 million pounds from Manchester United. That same day, Real Madrid sold 1 million jerseys for 80 pounds, and they basically recovered his transfer fee. So the real cost is not the transfer fee per se, but the salary over the period the player is going to be playing. So the teams are always very careful and circumspect not to go for a deal that will hamper them in the future. Look at the problem Man United is having with Sancho and Rashford. They're on astronomical wages. No team is going to take them for that amount. So that's the real problem. I think he should cut down his wages, go to a decent European club, win some silverware. His ability is not in question. And then when he's like 30 or 31, he can then move to Saudi Arabia and earn a proper gratuity and pension. That's what I feel, really.
Yeah, it's just pride and also this thing is dragging on too long. It's not good for his playing level for this thing to not be settled now. It's dragging on too long. Sometimes you have to be decisive, even if you make the wrong decision. It's better to be decisive than to be indecisive. Because when a bird in the hand beats two in the bush. When you don't decide, I can't make a mind, then you don't get any of them. Then you wake up and you have no team. I'm serious. He'll be playing in Turkey because the world economy is so bad that people say even though Osimhen is good, I don't have time for his trouble. Let's just pick a player who's not as good as him and let's move on.
And the reason Arsenal fancies Sesko ahead of him is because Sesko is 22. If Sesko signs a 4-year deal, he'll be 26 when that deal runs out. He still has resale value. And those are the kind of figures that these teams are looking at, basically.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts, Mr.? We'll go one more round before we head out. What are your thoughts, Mr. Warif?
Okay, like what we've been saying, Osimhen, he has to know what he wants. Is he after the money or is he after making the fame? So if he's after the money, he should just go to Saudi Arabia. But if he still wants to, he's after his fame, he should cut down his weekly takeaway, get a good club, and talk to his agents. Tell him the type of club he wants. Because by the time the window closes and he's still in Napoli, another club does not sign him, and Galatasaray does not sign him. See, Osimhen will just become a faded player in Napoli because they'll just put him there. The next thing they might even send him to go and be playing in Team B. So I think he has to really get a good advice. Think true and true. What do I want? Do I want to go after the money? Then go to Saudi Arabia. If I want to be among the top, top 5 leagues, best leagues in Europe, then take a pay cut. Go to Man U, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Madrid, Bayern, any of these clubs. And from there you can pick up again. But for now that he's just, I don't know if his agent is not giving him proper advice, or he's not taking advice from the agent because he thinks he has all the time in the world. Before you know it, transfer window is over. And if Galatasaray does not sign him, you go back to Napoli and Napoli will just rubbish him. and his value will drop more and more.
Yeah.
So I think he has to take a proper decision.
He's a good footballer. It's not his fault. He needed to have better agents because I don't think footballers need to be focusing on how they chart their career. That should be their managers. Like look at Yamin. I mean, probably his dad and mother, and he's going on a good trajectory. He's 17 years old. He knows what he wants. He's in the right team. Everything. He has a team around him. Osimhen needs to have a team around him, not just his friends. You can't make your friends your managers just because you like them. He has to have professionals.
They won't tell what you want to hear. They will be talking to you like a friend.
That's what he's doing. He has a bunch of people around him who whatever he says, yes, you're absolutely right.
Yes, my guy. Yes.
Yeah. What do you think, Kule, about folks who always say you're absolutely right?
Yeah. Quickly before all these other teams come back for preseason, because teams don't like training preseason and their players are not in. Agent needs to get a buck on. I don't think that they're doing well. But then the question is, okay, yes, he knows he had to take a pay cut. He knows that because he turned down Saudi Arabia and insane money. So he knows. The question is, how much of the pay cut are we? I mean, we're criticizing him that he won't take a pay cut. What is the pay cut that's being offered that he's not accepting? What if they're offering 80 or 100,000 and he's not accepting?
And there's another thing. Let me ask you a question. If Victor Osimhen was Spanish, let's say he was Spanish or he was English or he was German right now, do you think he would be having this problem he's having now?
No, he wouldn't. It's not just because of bias.
It's nationalism.
Another reason the problem is also because during the seasons, there are every 4 years, there's two Africa Cup nations where your African players are not available for crucial games in the league. And that actually devalues the African players because of that competition coming in during the season. So it's not just about, because he's a black man.
But also it's because Europe is where the market is. So if a player like Osimhen, if he was British, you know how many jerseys he'd be selling? You get my point.
I mean, like, for example, Man United is upset because even if we get to Mbeumo, he's not going to be around for a certain number of matches this season because of the Africa Cup of Nations. That reduces the value of African players. It actually does reduce the value of African players. No matter how good you are, availability is a quality. If you're not available, then I don't care if you can kick the ball to a billion miles. You can't play, you can't win, you can't be a good player. So that devalues.
You should go and play for Sundowns in South Africa. We need to watch out for South African football because those guys, they play together very well and pass the ball. They may start moving up in African football, but that's going to be a tip for another show. So I feel like last words, take us out. Or did you have any last thoughts, Mr. Warif? Yeah, or you done?
No, I'm okay. He's good.
Okay, Mr. Afolabi.
Yeah, so I think I quite agree with Kunle, but I think the issue is with the African Nations Cup that comes up always in January. January is like the peak of the dry season in Africa.
Yeah.
So, but if you take it to June in Europe, that will be the peak of the rainy season in Africa. So there's always that conundrum. Most African players, Mo Salah, and all of these would have to leave their team. And it used to annoy Sir Alex Ferguson in those days that he was almost always against signing African players. But now it's something you are going to have to live with. I think Osimhen should take a pay cut, maybe not so significant. I think if Osimhen is willing to take anywhere around £300,000 per week, he could get a Chelsea to sign him. Yeah. I think he's just adamant.
Chelsea's a physical team. Him and Palmer together would be fantastic. Yeah.
Yes. So I think he's just adamant he doesn't want to go down from his 400 plus thousand.
Oh, he needs to be flexible. He needs to be flexible. In life, you have to be flexible.
No team is going to pay him that amount. Yeah. Financial fair play and all the issues on ground. And he needs to do it quickly so that he can get a top competitive European club to sign him, spend like 3 or 4 years there, and then go to Saudi Arabia. I understand how it is for poverty in Nigeria. You grow up and everything. So, and there's the pressure of family on your neck. It's not easy, but I think that's where he's coming from.
But let me tell you something, man. He's not going to do like Michael Obi.
Financial.
Like Michael Obi and give your family money. Michael Obi gives his family money, then they say they were kidnapped, and then his family get kidnapped 6 times.
They kidnapped his father. Father was kidnapped.
So
yeah, but at some point, people were saying how many times, because his father was kidnapped several times. They were thinking that maybe the family staged it so they could get extra money.
family in Nigeria.
I've been kidnapped, and then you're okay. Your friends say they kidnap you, then you give the money, you share the money with them. Let me stop. We don't have proof of that. But this shit, Nigerian football players, I don't care how rich you are, you can't take care of your whole extended family. They have to work. You know, a lot of their family, they ask them, "Oh, let's buy me a father, buy me a expensive Jeep." You don't need an expensive Jeep. Once I buy you a house and you have food every day, that's all you need. You don't need to have a Jeep every
absolutely.
year.
You just need a little bit above the basics. Yeah.
Yeah, a house, electricity. Even though he has money, get him a houseboy, get him a driver. Finish. Oh, I need this $6,000 jacket. I say, no, I'm not buying you a jacket, Dad. I'll buy you. I'll make sure you have food. If you want to travel to England twice a year, come and visit me. But what they want is they want him to feed their whole life, pay my child's school fees, everything.
Yeah.
No, nobody has that much money. Because you keep taking money. Sure. That's how Michael Obi lost a lot of money from his family, not just the kidnapping.
Sure.
They kept taking money from him.
Yeah.
All right, take us out of Falabi. Yeah.
Another brilliant football show. We've been discussing our very own dear Victor Osimhen and why he needs to move his career forward and the options he needs to take. And from Warif, Kunle, Mustafa, and myself, we'll be back sometime in the future. Bye for now.
Yeah, Kunle and Falabi tomorrow, maybe around 2:30, we'll do political animals.
Okay. All right.
All right. Have a nice.
The other guy, the Oyibo guy.